So, dear viewers, like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery Channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery Channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two things combined or make them into one. So, Frederick Mccaskill. He's like somewhat of a missing person, and yet he's not. By the way, I'm a Discovery influencer. Yes, that is indeed a fact. I'm a Discovery influencer. He's somewhat a missing person, and yet he's not, and yet he is. Can you consider a criminal a missing person? Frederick Mccaskill is wanted for a lethal attack on his ex-girlfriend. Would he or would he not be considered a missing person? He in a sense, yes, right? To go to abuse someone and then disappears and say you can be considered a missing person. Somewhat, right? Again, Frederick is and was the ex-boyfriend of the woman he attacked. No one has seen or heard from Frederick even after he used a stolen card which belonged to the victim. I keep pulling my hair. Notice my hair, I'm sorry. Somebody in one of my other videos said, what did he say? Something about nobody cares about your hair. I in fact do. You in fact do, or you wouldn't have commented, right? I just took my braids down. That's why I'm trying to pull it down so it's not all looking like a broomstick. It in fact is, right? But a month after the beating of Ramos, Mary Ramos, she was in fact the victim. To beat a woman, right? Your ex, and then disappear. Leave a comment in the comment section, dear viewers. Would that be considered a missing person? Consider the law factor, right? I'm putting him up as a missing person. Austin, Texas was the location. Mary Ramos was discovered by police on October 8th, 2018, and when she was found, she was in the worst state a human could be in. Ramos, when she was found, she was bleeding and left in the front of her apartment after being beaten. Doctors at a nearby hospital noticed her brain bleeding in two separate areas, and her face held multiple facial fractures. Those same beatings forced her to be dependent on a feeding tube. He beat her to the point of needing a feeding tube. To need a feeding tube. Of course, she had to have various surgeries to repair the damage as well to her face, because see, to have the bleeding on the brain in two separate areas as well as the multiple facial fractures, that's enough, right? Yeah. So Frederick beat Ramos because she wanted to end their relationship that could have led in her death. That him wanting her to stay and her wanting to leave and him beating her half to death is, yes, she could have died in that, right? Why not allow a person to leave when they're ready to go, right? Sometimes it's not always good to force people to stay, right? I'm saying it could have, this situation, I'm able to see where it would have played out. To try to force a woman to stay is to say, beating on them, yes, is domestic violence, and yet this situation could have turned to him, it leading to his own death and demise. Because to try to force a woman to stay and you putting your hands on her or whatever, say this just didn't happen, this had to have been going on for a while, I'm thinking and guessing, right? That's how women start pulling out knives and other stuff, because to not want to be bothered with you any longer, as I say, she could have taken a butcher knife to even him and killed him. it didn't get that far, right? To say that she was highly close to death is to say I'm able to see where the situation would have ended up. And even if she would have, say if that would have played out, her pulling out a butcher knife or something on him, right? To rid him and his beatings, abuse, and all the rest. Say if it went on longer than just this incident, right? She more likely would have gotten off somewhat easy pertaining to the jail time, because even that would have been self-defense. You can see where this was headed, right? A month after the beating of, let me pause again. I was in the right place. A month after the beating of Ramos occurred, November 2018, Frederick himself confessed to the beating he inflicted on her. But before any further actions could be taken on him, he fled. No one has seen him and no one has heard from him. So where is he hiding? Where's to go? Because that's a bad ordeal in itself. That's to say, if to beat a woman is to say no telling where he's creeping around. He could be creeping right around in the area. No man that's gonna try to force a woman to stay with him is just gonna go disappearing and that's the end of that after he beat her, after forcing her to stay. He's more than likely creeping somewhere. He's probably, you never know how he's dressing and all the rest to creep, because that's to say he had a strong hold on even her, not willing to let her go. He might be in another state, he might not, right? He might have changed his appearance and yet be creeping around, because even that leads to stalkerish activity. Changing your appearance, can't let go of an ex, and then you're dressing in different ways, right? To see where the ex and all the rest is at. Stalkerish type activity, right? And yet, if you change your identity, a person wouldn't even be able to know that it's you, right? I can guess I'm about right about that. I don't think that he's too far away, and that he might be hiding at another place of residence or something like that, right? Something, but I just don't think he's too far off, because to need her and not want to let her go, yeah, I just can't see that, because you beat her. That shows in itself. He has to be somewhere in the area or something. That shows he might have fled for a time period, but even people that flee or whatever, run off, return, right? I'm able to see that. He probably somewhere, I said that for like the third or fourth time, somewhere around wherever she's at, as in off in the distance, pulling up in a different car or vehicle, whatever, scoping out what she's doing and all the rest, because that leads to stalkerish activity. It just does. It just does, right? So, descriptions on the suspect: date of birth, February 20th, 1986. I'm speaking on Frederick, not the victim. Once again, descriptions on the suspect: date of birth, February 20th, 1986. Sex, male. Weight, 150 pounds. Height, 5 feet 6 inches. His race, African American. His hair, black. His eyes, brown. He has ties to Florida. His charges include aggravated assault with serious bodily injury, family violence, second-degree felony. Yeah, it's best to, when somebody wants to let you go, it's best to let them go. It is. Because if she would have harmed him, I'm able to see that it would have not turned out, depending on who, the type of person that she is. Some women don't go for that sort of thing. I know baseball bats start coming out, all type of stuff. Women have been known to deal with exes like that and run them over with a car and kill them in an instance, right? Yeah, that type of stuff you let go, right? So we're on investigation discovery. The ID logo stands in the far left corner right here. Live now, Homicide Hunter Joe Kenda. New episodes. To receive an audio visual preview is to click the button and you would indeed receive an audio visual preview. Unlocked episodes. Somewhat of the same thing, receiving an audio visual preview. You can go through each one of these yourself. Unlock series. Recommended for you. Shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kenda as well as Paula. ID Go original series. Trying not to speed through this. I have a habit of flying through stuff enough to make anybody dizzy. To receive a newsletter from Investigation Discovery, to type your email address in and click next, and you would indeed receive a newsletter from Investigation Discovery. It's gonna take some time to rebraid my hair. You wanna, yeah. I was called out about that in one of my other videos. Who cares about your hair? I care about my hair because I'm dealing with it, and yet you're watching, right? That's common sense. Any fool would know that sort of thing. Calling out the ignorance in society. To know that I'm on this camera, to say, to unbraid my hair, Unraveled, as I say, is going to look somewhat crazy at times, right? And unbraiding it, and yet you're looking at it. Sometimes that could be a distraction to people that's watching you. That's why I called it out. Because to know that, well, my hair, my ends, whatever, right, I unbraid it, is to say, sometimes people will focus on, because most people get into looks. I don't. That's why I keep my hair braided, to keep it out the way, right? And even people that become obsessed, the average person, they become obsessed with looks because our society is looks driven, right? That's to say, even my hair will be a distraction. That's why I called it out. Well, this is why my hair looks like this. Most people know that I wear my hair in braids. To be on camera, as I say, people will focus more on how your hair looks than what you're saying. Not everybody thinks of that. That's why you call it out. Why are you bringing up your hair? Because to know that we live in a society that focus on looks is to say that even my hair being unbraided, as in it's going to be rebraided, is to say people will focus on that because we live within a looks obsessed society. Some people focus so much on looks they can't learn anything. That's the type of people that end up behind in life. They become the failures in life. Because if all you do is focus on your looks and can't focus on other stuff, is how you fall behind in life. Because this society is ran based upon business. Yes, marketing goes into that, as in looks goes into that, but business is oftentimes more valuable. Conducting business, getting things done in place of just focusing on looks, solving world issues, resolving world issues, that's just as much value, if not more, than people's looks. I have to call that sort of thing out because, yeah, some people would, in fact, that's why teachers nowadays have issues teaching people, even live on camera, because some people focus so much on what a person is wearing. Why such and such was wearing this or wearing that, and they can't consume anything because they're focused on that. You become a failure with that sort of mindset. Because if you can't allow things to just bypass your eyes and allow things to seep into your mind, pertaining to you having distraction issues, that's to say something could be wrong there. The mind should come first. And then if you want to focus on looks or getting into that and all the rest, right? That sort of thing's for stupid people. It just is. It's for stupid people, and I'm too analytical for that sort of to get into that sort of stuff. I don't like stuff like that, because sometimes when I watch other videos outside of what I do, right, and people just be like, well, his lips, or her lips, or I got big lips, right? Nobody never called me out on that. But they be so focused and so tuned in on the small illogical stuff. Well, such and such teeth, such and such have cracked teeth, and they'll focus on that through a whole 45-minute video, and yet won't focus on the learning aspect. Those become the failures of society. Ask me what I know. If you can't focus outside of just the appearance, then something is wrong. Shows a small mind. Because the open-minded individual will say, well, I don't like the fact that her hair looks wicked, right? I don't like the fact that his teeth are cracked. I don't like that part, right? But I'm going to try to at least focus in on the matter at hand as what is being said of importance. I'm going to focus on that, and then later I'm going to come back to the fact that his teeth is cracked or her hair is in a way that I don't like, right? You might want to zone out on something else while you're watching or listening. Listen. Go, listen. I can't get into people like that. They're all over YouTube. Those people have low IQ. Very low IQ. I can't stand it. Yeah, when I'm on a video and I'll hear somebody talking or listening, and you're going through the comment section, you're like, that man sat on the video for 45 minutes and that's all you could focus on was the fact that his teeth are cracked. So how far can you get in life with that mindset? Because to work for a huge corporation, Discovery, anybody else, right? Any corporation, Honda, all type of corporations, right? To go work for Elon Musk or somebody is to say you got to pin in on detail, but at the same time, you got to be able to think bigger. Logical people know that sort of thing, as in you're going to look at that, well, I don't like his teeth is cracked, but I got to go over here and pay attention to something I can learn, and which leads to much more bigger things. I'm a big picture individual. So if I'm seeing that somebody's teeth are cracked, I can't just focus on that, because remember, I'm logically tuned in to focus on the big picture. As in, what is he saying? Because the end result at the end, right? To want to know what the end, big picture thinking people don't focus on real small stuff like that. That man's cracked teeth in that video could do nothing for me. He might want to get them repaired, but I needed to know what he was saying, because what he was saying was of more value. It helps to think big, right? All that other stuff is unnecessary. I'm saying, because at the end of the day, he might in fact get his teeth repaired, right? But you just missed a whole lot of information just focused on that small thing. That's why there's so many losers and failures in American society. They focus on the most smallest irrelevant detail. They don't focus on the big stuff. Now, when a viewer called me out, a few of them, about the sound on my video, on 2 of the videos that I had, that's not irrelevant. That's important. That's a whole different thing. Having no sound there is a big issue. That's a big problem. So I think the viewers that did that called me out about the sound being missing, right? But when it comes to other stuff, or saying, well, I can't focus because, I see it all the time when it comes to girls when they put on their hair and their makeup, and people be like, I can't focus on the video because of her eyeshadow. Well, that's not her problem. That's your problem. You might, in fact, want to work on your seeing skills, perception, and reasoning with that, as in learning how to look around certain things. That's an issue. I don't like stuff like that. I can't focus because her eyeshadow is not the way that I think it should be, right? That's never gonna work in trying to gain success. Because, see, the reason why I'm saying this and the reason why I know that is because for every problem that person bumps up against, they're not going to know how to walk around it. As in, they're not going to know how to resolve it and get around the problem. I'm able to see because I have a problem solving mindset, so I know what I'm saying. If a person say, well, I'm looking at the video, she's trying to explain how to deal with emotional problems. She's trying to explain in the video, but I don't like her eyeshadow. That's a once again say the people that is calling that out and stuck on that is to say those people ain't going to be able to know how to deal with and resolve bigger life issues. Which is why the world is the way that it is. Because if you're stuck on that small thing, such as the eyeshadow, not liking it, it's to say you more likely are not able to handle big issues in your life, in your world. That's a failure. I call things as I see it. You stuck in tune on the very small thing. And yet if big things start bumping into your world that can cause failure in your life, the first thing you'll do is sit, pout, and cry. And yet you don't know how to work out the issue as in resolve it because you're so used to pinpointing small things. That's why it helps to have a big picture mindset. I think that's all to be said for now. Dear viewers, leave a comment in the comment section. May you enjoy your day. I, in fact, will enjoy mine. And I'm gone for now.